Have you ever stopped to wonder what prevents a massive factory from just grinding to a halt? Or how our power grid keeps the lights on without constant blackouts? Well, the answer is often a powerful, kind of invisible system working tirelessly behind the scenes. Today, we're going to lift the hood on SAP Plant Maintenance, the digital backbone that stops catastrophic failures from bringing our modern world to a screeching halt. All right, so here's how we're going to break it all down. First, we'll look at the massive cost when things actually fail. Then we'll meet the digital brain that's designed to manage it all. After that, we'll walk through the step-by-step process from breakdown to resolution. We'll see how this system is way more than just a quick fix. And finally, we'll dig into the true bottom line, what this means in the real world. So before we can really get into the solution, we've got to understand the problem, right? Let's kick things off with what happens when the big machines stop and the incredibly high cost of that failure. It seems like a simple question, doesn't it? But man, the implications are just huge. In a super complex industrial setting, what really happens when one critical piece of equipment suddenly goes down? It's a total domino effect, and it's fast. The production line stops cold. That means you're missing deadlines for your customers. Suddenly, you're paying people to just stand around while you're also paying a fortune for emergency repairs, so costs just explode. And maybe the most important thing, an unexpected breakdown can create some seriously dangerous situations for the people working there. This is the chaos every business is desperate to avoid. So how do you stop all that from happening? Well, that's where our digital solution comes in. Think of it as the plant's central brain. Let's introduce the hero of this story. So this is SAP Plant Maintenance, or just PM for short. At its core, it's basically an air traffic control system, but for a company's physical stuff. Every machine, every piece of equipment, every single critical component gets tracked, managed, and maintained right here in this central hub. And its goals are way, way bigger than just fixing things. The number one objective? To prevent breakdowns from ever happening in the first place. But it's also about getting the most out of every piece of equipment over its entire life, making sure you're meeting all the safety rules, keeping costs from spiraling out of control, and just managing all the work in a smart, efficient way. See? It's not just a repair log. It's a full-on strategic tool. Okay, so we know what it is, and we know what it's supposed to do, but how does it actually work when something goes wrong? Let's follow the journey from a problem popping up all the way to getting it fixed. So check this out. It all follows this really clear, structured path. It kicks off the second someone spots an issue. A digital notification gets logged in the system. That notification then turns into a formal work order to plan everything out. From there, the right technicians get assigned, the right parts are issued, and the work gets done. And every single detail, the time it took, how much it cost, what parts were used, it's all recorded. Finally, the order's closed, and you've got this permanent digital record. This is how you get rid of lost paperwork and forgotten repairs for good. Now, the magic that makes this whole thing hum is something called master data. Just think of it like a complete digital blueprint of the entire facility. The system knows what every single machine is, exactly where it is, what parts it needs, and it even has step-by-step instructions on how to fix it. This data is the brains of the operation, making sure the right person gets the right part for the right job, and fast. But here's the thing. It's not just about putting out fires one by one. This whole system lets companies build something much bigger, a truly proactive connected system. This is where a tool really becomes a strategy. And this table, it shows the evolution perfectly. You start with corrective maintenance, which is basically just, it broke, fix it. That's reactive. But SAP PM helps you climb up to preventative maintenance, where you're doing scheduled checkups to stop problems before they even start. And the holy grail? That's predictive maintenance, where you're using sensor data to predict a failure before there are even any signs of trouble. And this is super important. Plant maintenance doesn't just live on its own little island. It has to be deeply connected to the entire business. It talks to materials management to order spare parts. It talks to finance to track every penny spent. It talks to production to schedule downtime so it causes the least disruption. It even connects to HR to make sure the technician assigned has the right skills for the job. It's the central hub. Okay, so enough with the theory. What does all this actually look like in the real world? In our last section, let's get to the true bottom line, the tangible results that show you exactly why this system is so critical. All right, let's imagine a real-life situation. You've got this super important machine in a factory, and it just keeps breaking down, totally at random. It's creating chaos on the production line and costing the company a fortune. Okay, so how does SAP PM fix this? First, a notification gets created to officially log the problem. Then, a work order is made to plan the repair. But here's the game changer. They use the system to look at the machine's entire repair history. They analyze all that data and find the actual root cause of the problem. And based on that, they roll out a new preventative plan to make sure it doesn't happen again. And the result? Well, it's exactly what you'd hope for. Those surprise breakdowns, they drop like a rock. The team isn't just running around putting out fires anymore. They've shifted from that reactive state of panic to a proactive state of control. And it's all thanks to the data and structure the system provides. And you can actually measure this improvement with what are called key performance indicators, or KPIs. A classic one in maintenance is mean time to repair, or MTTR. It's super simple, really. On average, how long does it take you to fix something once it's broken? And I mean, just look at the difference. The numbers really tell the story here. Before having a system like this, your average repair time might be 8 hours. That's a whole shift gone. But afterwards, with everything planned, parts ready, and instructions clear, you can slash that time down to just 2 hours. That's not a small improvement. That's a massive, massive win for efficiency. And that really brings us to the main takeaway here. When you boil it all down, this system isn't really about fixing machines. It's about making sure the entire business can keep running smoothly, day in and day out. It's about keeping people safe, and it's about making sure those really expensive assets last as long as they possibly can. It kind of makes you look around, doesn't it? From the electricity in your walls to the delivery trucks that bring packages to your door, our entire world is propped up by these incredibly complex, often invisible systems. So what are the ones that keep your world running?